Located on Whidbey Island, Ebeys Landing National Historic Reserve is one of the most unique and beautiful places in Northwest Washington. In this one location, you can not only enjoy the plentiful outdoor activities, but also learn a lot about the development of this area, its rich history, and how it continues to thrive today.
As evidenced by the blockhouse behind me, you're in the middle of Ebeys Landing National Historical Reserve, our country's first historical reserve, established in 1978. The reserve contains 17,572 acres, 14 working farms, many that date back to the early pioneer settlers that first homesteaded here in 1850, and 450 historic buildings on the National Register of Historic Places.
A lot of settlers came here. This was a beautiful place to live. One of them was Captain Coupe, who Coupeville is named after. And he was the first fellow that started a ferry that ran right from here on Ebeys Landing over to Port Townsend. And the reason that the Ebeys moved here, the Ebey family, was that this is just fantastic farmland. It's been without trees for a long, long time. In fact, the record wheat crop in Washington State was grown on a farm out there in the 1940s. It's very fertile. The land is fantastic, and of course it's great views, and it has great access down Puget Sound, across to Port Townsend and Seattle, and all other places here.
Behind me is the Jacob Ebey House, built in 1855. It's being rehabilitated as a visitor contact station. It's part of our long-term plan. Here at Ebeys, unlike other national parks, when you think of Olympic National Park, North Cascades National Park, these are parks that are owned by the federal government. Here at Ebeys, the idea was always to retain private ownership and depend upon the tradition of local stewardship to protect this resource. And so of the 17,572 acres, 85% of that is privately held. And so Ebeys is unlike any other national park unit in the country in that its stewardship and management is based upon partnerships with the Island County Historical Society, with the town of Coupeville, with Island County, with Washington State Parks, and many other participants, including tourism, because part of course, our charge here is to develop and sustain a visitor experience where people can really learn about the agricultural history here and the heritage of central Whidbey Island.
This is one of 3 prairies on Whidbey Island. This is Ebeys Prairie. It's been farmed for a long time, and as you can see today, it's still being farmed. And much of the produce that's grown on this prairie is available in local restaurants and in the stores. And the restaurants, of course, have their favorite recipes that they have with the farms and the produce that come from here.
Ebeys Reserve and places like this are important because they connect us to our rural roots. Within the Pacific Northwest, Ebeys Reserve is the only place where you have that deep connection to the history still evident upon the landscape. But this isn't just about the past, it's about a community striving to protect its rural heritage for the future and for others to visit and enjoy and share in. This place is open to everyone, whether it's through hiking trails, biking trails, and other venues. To learn more about Ebeys Reserve in central Whidbey Island, you can go to WhidbeyCaminoIslands.com.